taking a look today at Japan's chart, possible astrological influences for the events that occurred on August the 5th. And the astrology that was going on in Japan's chart can give us some clues as to the possibilities of why this occurred. Also looking at if this is going to occur again and its possibilities. I'm also looking at the full moon, its influence on Japan, because it is a very powerful full moon. We have Saturn Jupiter squaring to each other. It's very influential. Before we begin, information I have for Japan is May 3rd, 1947, 12 p.m. as the date and time of modern day Japan's formation. Tokyo, Japan is the location. I am using New York as the transit chart. I'm doing it this way because it did heavily influence the New York Stock Exchange. The New York Stock Exchange is located in New York, so I thought that would be a good location to use. I looked back at transits that were occurring a couple of days before August 5th because there was energies and influences occurring in Japan in general and astrologically that were influencing Japan and its finances before the 5th. Usually a large event that occurs like that, it's not just that day that things crash. It's usually a build up to a situation. So on August the 3rd, the sun was next to Pluto. This happens every year. The transiting sun always is conjunct to its natal Pluto in every country chart and every chart everywhere, personal, financial, everywhere. This is challenging. It's a tense transit. I feel that this is the catalyst or the trigger that caused it because along with this challenging transit, speaking of transformation, we also had transiting Pluto opposite to natal Saturn. Saturn's in the first house in the sign of Leo. It's that dominant, it's very dominating energy. Leo in itself is very bold. So this transit is indicating a period of crisis related to how authority is asserted and maintained, how it's thought to look, but that look, how it is on the outside, is not sustainable. There is something occurring in the background that is causing a crumbling of the outside, leading to a crisis of sorts. This also signifies governmental reforms, shift in how there's leadership and power is perceived by the public. People thought that Japan was doing very well, doing very strong. Its stocks were rallying, but because of the difference in interest rates from the US and Japan, and then the strengthening of the yen, this caused this sudden economic downturn. Pluto is also retrograde. That is another reason I believe that this was even more influential. It's at 0 degrees of Aquarius, going over the governmental structures, looking at it, reviewing, reevaluating, transforming them, and cutting out what's not working. And obviously the finances, the interest rates in Japan were not working, they were kept low. And then all of a sudden, the interest rates were risen and it caused this domino effect. We also have Uranus, transiting Uranus opposite to natal Jupiter. These are large outer transits that are influencing and touching natal outer planets. Very strong. Uranus and Taurus is in the 10th house. That's mark on the world, how the world also perceives it. So how other people and countries are perceiving Japan is a large theme here. Jupiter in the 4th house in Scorpio. This is talking about money, finances, banking, the nation itself, its roots, its security, its domestic affairs. It does represent foreign exchange, foreign relations. And this did affect the finances globally. Jupiter in Scorpio in general, it's transformative, intense periods of expansion and growth. With it opposite to Uranus, it's causing this intense period in a different way. Uranus in the 10th house is its reputation to the public, to the world. And Uranus is bringing this unexpected change to Japan in general, to its finances. It's expanding the reach of this situation on a global level. It was sudden, it was quick that it happened. People seemed surprised, caught off guard. Most of the financial world was caught off guard with this. It was giving conflict to its internal stability and its public appearance, also signaling economic and political instability in the country, transforming how the world is perceiving Japan. It also signifies economic shocks, which we did see that. We also have Neptune opposite to the North Node, shattering illusions that are occurring. And again, with this, what occurred on the 5th shattered the illusion of Japan's financial stability. So even though Pluto, the Sun does conjunct to Pluto every single year that occurs, I believe that this was the trigger with Uranus opposite to Jupiter and Pluto opposite to its Saturn. With these other transits occurring, I feel that it was just that trigger that caused this domino effect across the financial markets. Something else that I did notice was that transiting Saturn is in a square to natal Uranus. It's signaling financial challenges, great financial challenges, adding more challenges, more frustrations, financially especially, on top of all the other transits occurring. Saturn will be in a square to Uranus for a period of time. Saturn will move away from Uranus in September, but then it will come back into the square again because Saturn is retrograde. So when it goes direct, I believe starting in December, possibly January, the square aspect will come back into play and become exact again February 2025. So tension could be relieved for a period of time, September, October, November, but then the situation will revisit itself starting December through early next year. Looking at August the 19th, this is the full moon when Jupiter will be in the exact square to Saturn in the general charts for everybody everywhere. During this full moon, we still have Pluto opposite to natal Saturn. We still have Saturn squaring to natal Uranus, but we also have Jupiter and Mars conjunct next to natal Uranus in the 11th house, sparking some sort of news information, something that is very strong, potent, fiery. I want to say it's very quick moving energy. This could have to be an implication of international relations. Like it's going to take over Japan's news and media by firestorm. Uranus is no longer opposite to natal Jupiter, which is very positive. It's relieving some pressure on the home front. With transiting Saturn squaring transiting Jupiter in general, this is just a challenge in the overall spectrum for the overall everybody, which is the world, personally, macro, micro. But I do see this as it's like a continuation, expanding these situations, the financial situation, more information coming out, revealing something more of what happened possibly on the 5th, or just could be just another situation occurring. But with Saturn here in a square to natal Uranus, and now Jupiter is conjunct and Mars conjunct natal Uranus, I feel this is a continuation of the story, unfolding more information, action being taken. There's some sort of action, the information coming out. There's a cause for some sort of action to occur during this time. Japan is going through a challenging time period, and as I stated, the situation's going to continue to be present for Japan. It's on the forefront. It's in the spotlight for now, and the information will continue to unfold with this, and it could influence the rest of the global markets as well. Due to the fact that Jupiter is involved, it has to do with foreign relations with others. And transiting Jupiter's in the 11th house, who Japan talks to, who it communicates with, is somehow being affected. Its finances are affecting others in foreign countries, not just in Japan itself, but globally. And with the moon here, the full moon in the 7th house in Aquarius, its relationships with others that are affected. September, even October, could be more quieter, calmer period, actually with the sun trining to the sun. Saturn has moved far enough away where you feel some relief in Japan, which will be very positive. Foreign countries could be regaining confidence in Japan. The situation will be revisited, though, towards the end of this year into February 2025, when Saturn comes back into the exact square with Uranus. Hope you guys enjoyed this and got some information out of it. I do have a Patreon where I do crypto astrology. I just released last month's forecasts that I did for Bitcoin, crypto market, and some other coins, PEPE, DOGE, Near Protocol, for free on my Patreon. Come take a look so you can get a better understanding of how I look at the charts. I hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, and share.